The entirety of Gary Chapman's book, The 5 Love Languages, was written in 1992 by the American pastor and marriage counselor. Over 30 years, it has become a bestseller, translated into more than 50 languages, and has helped millions of couples improve their relationships. The author developed the concept of love languages after many years of working with couples facing relationship problems. Gary Chapman wrote this book after noticing a recurring pattern in his practice as a marriage counselor. He realized that many relationship problems arise from a mismatch between how people express love and how they want to receive it. This book will help you understand why sometimes your efforts to show love go unnoticed, and will teach you to express feelings in a way that your partner truly feels them. Part 1, how we express and receive love. Rule 1, what are you saying? This chapter introduces the reader to the concept of the love languages and explains why people often misunderstand each other in relationships. The author shows that the problem is most often not the absence of love, but different ways of expressing it. The idea of different love languages suggests that each person perceives expressions of love in their own way. This means that what seems like an obvious expression of love to one person may be completely unnoticed by another. The technique for determining your own love language suggests paying attention to the actions that make us feel happiest. This helps to understand exactly how we want to receive love. A husband spends a lot of money on gifts for his wife, but she would prefer to spend more time with him. If he paid her more attention instead of buying gifts, the relationship would improve. The main message of this chapter is the awareness that one must learn to speak the partner's love language, not just one's own. Rule 2, how to discover your primary love language. In this chapter, Chapman explains how you can determine your own love language and recognize it in others. The author suggests several methods of self-analysis. The primary love language is formed from the actions a person chooses to express their feelings. This can be noticed in daily actions when a person wants to show their affection. The method of observing emotional reactions helps to understand which expressions of love bring the most satisfaction. This is important for identifying the partner's preferences. A woman always tries to organize family evenings and plans joint weekends. She is also especially touched when her husband takes her along to important meetings. Her primary love language is quality time. Determining your own and your partner's love language is the first step toward deeper mutual understanding in a couple. Rule 3, how to determine your spouse's love language. Here, the author gives practical recommendations for identifying the partner's primary love language. Chapman emphasizes the importance of careful observation and open dialogue. The method of analyzing the partner's regular requests allows one to notice what they ask for most often. These requests often point to their primary love language. The method of feedback through questions helps to get information directly. One needs to ask the partner specific questions about what makes them happy. A husband constantly asks for help with car repairs or preparing dinner. When his wife agrees, he becomes especially grateful. This indicates the language of acts of service. Overall conclusion for part 1. The first part of the book introduces the reader to the basic concept of the 5 love languages and provides practical tools for their identification. Understanding your own and your partner's system of love perception is the key to successfully applying all subsequent information. Without this knowledge, all further attempts to improve the relationship may be ineffective. This part creates a solid foundation for working on the relationship, offering specific methods of analysis and self-discovery. Part 2, the 5 love languages. Rule 4, words of affirmation. This chapter examines the first love language, words of affirmation, their meaning, and their impact on the relationship. The author explains how to properly use this language to express love. Words of affirmation include sincere compliments, encouragement, and recognition of the partner's merits. These words must be specific and honest to have the maximum impact. The practical technique of replacing criticism with praise involves consciously changing one's approach to communicating with the partner. Instead of focusing on shortcomings, one must learn to notice and acknowledge positive qualities. Instead of saying, "You forgot to take out the trash again," one can note, "I am grateful that you did the dishes today. That helped me a lot." Words of affirmation can become a powerful tool for strengthening the relationship if used correctly and sincerely. Rule 5, quality time. This chapter reveals the second love language, quality time spent together. The author explains the importance of attention and presence in the moment of communication with the partner. Quality time requires full attention and participation. This means that during time spent together, all distractions must be turned off, and focus should be solely on the partner. The technique of planning special time suggests pre-scheduling meetings for quality communication. This can be a weekly dinner or a regular walk without phones. A young couple goes to a cafe every Thursday evening, where they discuss the past week without being distracted by gadgets. Quality time creates a deep emotional connection between partners, even if it takes a little time. Rule 6, receiving gifts. This chapter analyzes the third love language, receiving gifts. The author shows why gifts can be an important way to express love and how to choose them correctly. Gifts do not necessarily have to be expensive. The main thing is the attention and effort invested in choosing the present. This can be either a material item or a symbolic gesture. The method of observing the partner's interests helps to choose a truly significant gift. One needs to pay attention to what interests the loved one. The wife noticed that her husband often talks about a new book by a famous author. She buys it for his birthday, and he is very touched by this attention. Gifts are not just things, they are symbols of care and attention that can significantly strengthen feelings between partners. Rule 7, acts of service. Here, the fourth love language, acts of service, is examined. The author explains how practical help can be one of the strongest ways to express love. Acts of service include doing daily chores and small kind deeds. This can be help with household duties or solving the partner's work issues. The technique of small steps is to start with simple actions that are easy to perform, gradually increasing the number of services provided. The husband sees that his wife is tired after work and cooks dinner himself, although it is usually her duty. Such a gesture creates a warm atmosphere at home. Acts of service demonstrate real care and support, which is especially valuable for people whose primary love language is this one. Rule 8, physical touch. In the last chapter of the second part, the fifth love language, physical touch, is discussed. The author reveals the role of physical contact in developing intimacy between partners. Physical touch includes hugs, kisses, hand-holding, and other forms of safe physical contact. They create an emotional connection at the body level. The method of experimenting with different forms of touch allows finding those that are most comfortable for both partners. This can range from light stroking to more intimate forms of contact. A couple starts every morning with a short hug before leaving for work. This ritual helps them maintain a sense of closeness all day. Physical touch is a universal love language that can strengthen the bond between partners regardless of their primary language. Overall conclusion for part 2. The second part of the book thoroughly analyzes each of the 5 love languages, offering practical methods for their application. Understanding these languages allows one to accurately determine how best to express their feelings to a partner. Each language has its own characteristics and implementation techniques, but all are aimed at strengthening the emotional connection between people. This part gives readers concrete tools for working on their relationships, allowing them to speak the love language understandable to their partner. Part 3, overcoming communication barriers. Rule 9, the love language, male and female. In this chapter, the author explores the differences in the perception and expression of love between men and women. The main characteristics of each gender in the context of the 5 love languages are discussed. Men most often prefer the languages of acts of service and physical touch, as the feeling of usefulness and acceptance is important to them. Women, on the other hand, value words of affirmation and quality time more, as they seek emotional connection. The technique of realizing gender differences involves understanding these differences and adapting one's behavior accordingly. This helps avoid misunderstandings and conflicts in the couple. A man, instead of simply giving a compliment, offers to help with home repairs, which for him is a more natural way of expressing care. Understanding this helps his partner correctly interpret such actions. Taking into account gender differences in the perception of love allows for a better understanding of the partner and finding the most effective ways of interaction. Rule 10, discipline and the love language. This chapter examines the connection between discipline and the expression of love. The author explains how knowledge of the love languages can be used to improve family upbringing. Discipline should be based on love, not on fear or force. If parents speak their children's love language, it makes the disciplinary process more effective and humane. The technique of combining discipline with the love language involves using appropriate methods of punishment and encouragement that correspond to the child's preferences. For example, if a child's love language is gifts, the removal of them may be an effective way to correct behavior. Parents notice that their child highly values quality time spent together. Therefore, instead of the usual punishment, they limit the number of joint activities when the child misbehaves. Integrating the love languages into the disciplinary process creates a healthier and more harmonious family environment. Rule 11. Conflict resolution. Here the author analyzes the role of love languages in resolving conflicts in relationships. Specific strategies for overcoming disagreements are discussed. Conflicts often arise due to the misuse of or inattention to the partner's love language. Understanding this helps to find constructive ways to solve problems. The technique of active listening and a personalized approach involves carefully listening to the partner and adapting one's behavior